What's going on, people? Welcome back to another JSTV. Back again. It's Tuesday night. It's the Real Talk podcast show. We're doing debates, and I've got Paul on my top right-hand corner. Good evening to you, Paul.
All right, Benny.
I'm good. And good evening to you, Tom.
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Good stuff. And we've got a new guest on as well. We wanted to come on my show. Eventually, I got her from Phoenix and a Geordie. Leslie, hi to you.
Actually, I'm in Saudi at the minute. So I'm in Riyadh.
Yeah, man.
I live in Phoenix, but I'm from Newcastle. So
cool stuff.
That's
cool
me.
stuff. Great stuff. Well, welcome to John Sinclair TV Leslie for the first time, and F1's going to make you welcome as well. And if you like the video, like what you watch, you know exactly what you do. Just make sure you sub the channel, hit the like button as well, and also like to share the socials as well. Thank you, Leslie, and hi to Gary V. And super chats are open for 99p. Just give what the channel is worth. And hi to Jules. And hi to Stephen. Again to Harry, and everyone say hi to everybody else, which is fantastic. And big up to True Good. Big up to you, my guy, and I hope you're great. Big Arsenal fan, and your channel's growing all the time, mate. And give this guy a subscribe. He is really good for a young lad as well. Right. Just before we go on to the topic, we talk about Kieran Trippier. Right, Paul. I mean, apparently Bayern made an offer, 13 million quid. That'd be rejected. They're looking for 20 million quid. Now, for me, I'm going to be real, right? But I think Kieran Trippier could be on this way, in my opinion. I hope it doesn't, but I don't think he wants to go. Nobody knows what's going on. There's different reports as well. I try and get a German journalist to give me a follow, so I'll try to get him on, but obviously he's not following us back. Cool, but yeah, will he, won't he, Paul? Kieran Trippier.
I mean, the amount of stories I've heard about this in the last 48 hours are ridiculous about him being away, coming back, but he was actually going back to Germany. He was coming back to Newcastle to train because he's not going anywhere. Pete Graves says that he's not going anywhere. Craig Coke says he is, and maybe not. Keith Downey says that he wouldn't be surprised that no one goes anywhere, even though 3 people have been linked away. He reckoned that Daniel's comments kind of dipped the toe in. He didn't say what people said he said. People saying he's told people that wear a selling club. He never said that, and it's annoying me that people are saying that he's quoted that. He didn't say that at all. I just think that with his comments, it's just some clubs are just they're trying to see what our resolve is. So they're putting in offers. It's rare that we're in a nice position where we actually have players that are actually worth more than a quid. Manquillo went to to Celta the other day, and I swear that was for no money. I think that's pretty much a free transfer by the looks of it. I don't think we've got any money for that apart from getting them off the books. And we've got sellable assets now, and that's the thing that I love Trippier. I don't want him to get preferably I'd love Trippier to stay with us, but I'm not being funny. If we can make a decent profit off him, and we have a sensible replacement in mind, because that's another thing. I don't want him to go and then us be like, oh, we'll just wait till summer. No, because Livramento could get injured, and that's dangerous to play with that. If you get rid of Trippier, I want a replacement, by the end of the window. Do you know what I mean? It has to be that way. If we get rid of any of those 3 that have been linked, it's not. I don't just want to. If Almiron goes, as much as people give him, stick. If Almiron goes, no problem. We got the money, but I want a replacement before the end of the window. You can't rely on Murphy. We've seen that. His shoulder might pop out again or whatever, and then you've left yourself knackered for the rest of the season. So, what I care about is naturally you're going to move players on. I love Trippier. I think he's done an amazing job. So if he does move on, he'll go with all of our best wishes. But like I said, the main issue for me is if you do get rid of someone, the main problem is you have to have someone in by the end of the window. We cannot. We've already left ourselves short this season with injuries. Do you know what I mean? And it's not going to take much for, if Livramento plays every game until now the end of the season, let's say Trippier goes, we don't get a replacement, and we try to play Livramento every game,
Mm.
To me, he's not going to get an injury by now on the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? It's just, and then you're leaving yourself short. So that's the big thing for me, for definite.
Facts, absolute facts. Because the thing is, right, I mean, you've got to give replacements as well. And what you said there, Paul, I can't really add anything to that as well, to be fair, because you're so right. And we've got to get replacements very, very quickly. If you cannot find them, don't say them. Simple as that. Because to Andy, by the way, thanks for your kind donation, man. Really appreciate that. And also as well, well done for beating Forest, not Forest, beating West Ham the other week. And good luck against Forest in the FA Cup on Saturday. So big up to Andy, big Bristol City fan. And 20 mil's not enough. Paying exchange in cash. Asking Steve. Steve, I've got to reply back to your message. I do apologise, but it's could be sending players which ain't good for our club. For ourselves, it's in James's Park. What's going on, Geordies? It's the FFP. Exactly where they got us, though, Big Morgan. Exactly where they got us as well. Hi to Alan. I hope you absolutely fine. And how one's a midfielder? That's all we know. Who? We don't know. We have to buy one as an upgrade. It'll cost money. So are the sales necessarily during the window? I'm going to have to kind of agree, Gary, because it looks like we're going to have to do our business now rather than summer, because it seems to me, Leslie, and welcome to the channel, it seems to me now that the season is up. This is why they want to do business now. Do you think the club going the right way about it, or do you think you should wait till the summer?
I'm a bit on the fence about Trippier, because, I mean, he is 33, and, you know, when he turns 34 as well, I mean, I think it's going to be, even though he is a quality player, it's going to be tough to get any money for his sale. And I was just reading this afternoon, I mean, his wages are about 120K a week. It's a lot of money that they could free up for FFP. So I'm just wondering if maybe it is a good thing to try to sell him. Doesn't sound 100% like the club want him to go and he doesn't want to go, but I don't know. We've got Tino, who's really proved himself this past season so far. He's been able to slot in multiple positions. He's played left and right back and then winger as well. So I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence about it. At first, I was really gutted to hear about Trippier potentially going, but maybe it is not a bad thing. I don't know. What do the rest of you think?
We're going to get on to Tom on that bit as well, because we spoke off air before we come on. We agreed that, you know what, I think this guy, I think he's done at Newcastle. I think he'd be off the ban. I don't want him to go, but at the end of the day, I've got a funny feeling now that he fancies this move to Bayern Munich. I mean, the way they bully Harry Kane out of Tottenham, dying out of Tottenham, they do bully teams out of clubs. Look at Kimiai for Napoli, bullying them out of there. Yeah. What Bayern wants, Bayern gets. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think it's an underestimation, really, to think that Harry Kane and Dyer haven't had something to do with possibly Kieran Trippier's decision either. They've made the move quite comfortably, and from what I've read, they've been well looked after too. Now, as Leslie said, he is 33 going on 34. He's on a very good salary, but the common denominator for me, guys, is also the fact that what I've read, that he may want to go. And if, I have captained and I have led teams before. If you've got somebody that wants to go, sometimes you have to turn around and say, well, is he good or bad for the team on that basis? Now, the money which I've seen is about 15 million. That's what I've seen. Whether that is the case, I don't know. But for that sort of money, I was shocked. I thought it was would be a lot lower. And that would make me consider selling him because we do have Tino and we do have Kraft. And certainly we would have to bring somebody in as well. But unlike Paul, I mean, I think that I wouldn't go for another right back until the summer, but I'd certainly do something in midfield with that money which is due to come in from him. So I'm not really sitting on the fence on this. My decision would be the common denominator. If he wanted to go, then and that money is right for the club, then thank you, Kieran. You've been a wonderful servant, and we wish you well.
Yeah. Go on, Leslie.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if I can just add on to what you were saying there as well. I think really, you know, a lot of our fans are becoming impatient. I think really we need to be a #1 team after 2 years, but it's very difficult to do that. So I feel like they're working on the commercial side of the club more than you know, strengthening the squad yet. So I feel like
sorry for interrupting, Leslie, but I think we all need to be, as fans, I think we all need to realize, I think you're right. I think commercially now we have become fans. We were a fans club. We've now become a commercial machine, and that's the way it's going to continue. And you just got to look at Man City. Man City are not only producing great players on the pitch, they're producing great players in the academy, and as I can't remember the CEO's name, he turned around and he's right. He says, we're producing also great football executives. And there's a perfect example of the guy going to Manchester United. So I think we are becoming more commercial, but it also means, sadly, that when I used to go, it was 570, 580 quid a ticket I used to get to for me and the son. But them days are gone. And I think those prices are going to move up as well. I think Newcastle are just going to keep moving and moving and moving ahead. And I think, you know, if Kieran did go and things did stable out, Leslie, I think he would, with all due respect, I think he would be forgotten about, and it would be, well, who's coming in next?
I totally agree, guys. But it's going to be interesting. But like I said, with Bayern once, they're going to get anywhere. But looks like we're going to use Tino as cover if Kieran decides to move on. Will they leave it till the season, struggle, see if FFP has changed for next season? I think FFP is there to stay, James, to be honest with you. That will not change, unfortunately. So big up to Finn Goodson. I hope you're good, mate. Absolutely good. My workmate Craig, but the Craig Big Car City fan. Great lad. I really do like him as well. Pinto, yeah, been told not to read it, but I get what you point, mate, as well. I'll do as well, Alan. And thank you, Leslie. And hi to Shelley B. Hope you're good. And Gary, got your message, my guy, from Claude. And hi to Carl as well. Big up to Carl, by the way. He's a great guy. He's on me show the other day. What a guest he was as well. And yeah, so the thing was, right, I mean, Newcastle won 20 million for it, Paul. 20 million quid for Kieran Trippier. Yeah. Can you see Bayern paying that? 20 million quid for 33, coming on 34.
I think if the sale does go through, we'll probably meet somewhere in between that. I don't know if we'll be jamming enough to get that much. We'll probably meet in the middle, maybe at like 16 or 60, you know, one of those sorts of in the middle sort of prices. You know, maybe we can sneak it up to 20 with some like bonuses and stuff, but it's one of those, it's, you know, we got them for 12, didn't we? You know, so anything you make on that is profit, you know, and you can add that to FFP, how their rules work. You can kind of tell them you're setting the profit from what you've bought the player for, which is obviously a positive if you can do that, especially as we said, as age and stuff. So it depends. We know Bayern have got money, but they have spent an awful lot on Harry Kane in particular. So, you know, they're not normally a club that goes out and just plugs, you know, 100 million on a player. So, you know, I don't think they've got unlimited funds. I don't think anyone has in football at the moment. I don't think, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, Barcelona are hemorrhaging money, as we know. You know, the big clubs, like even Man United are struggling. You know, there's money, there is money there, but it's just kind of, you know, there's still clubs that are still struggling. You know, Man City and us are probably probably the only clubs that are doing all right for, you know, we never have to worry about money ever again. But the problem is with all the rules and regulations, that's what's holding us back a little bit. But it's also, for me, I mean, obviously it is frustrating not being able to spend like anything, you know, but I am also glad that there is like some regulations, as much as this would annoy some of the certain brand of Newcastle fans we've seen come into the club. The last thing I'd want is to become like a Man City, as in like just buying players who don't care about the club, mercenaries who, you know, just come and just want to do, you know, just don't care about the team, don't care about the city, blah, 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 you know, don't care about the manager, just want to come and do a job and then like kind of just go away. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of glad we've had to do it a different way, because for me, if we do end up doing something special, like winning a league or something, and it has been through sensible signings, maybe with a few superstars here and there, like Bruno and stuff like in there, and Isaac and Botman, you know, with some like, you know, with some special talent there, I think that's going to be more special. Do you know what I mean? Like rather than just like buy it, you know, if we just went out and bought like everyone special, you know, everyone amazing in the world and just started winning everything, I don't think it would mean as much. Do you know what I mean? I just think it would feel a bit, yeah, we won it, but we did kind of, do you know what I mean? We've just kind of bought it. So
Yeah.
You know, as much as it is frustrating, I do prefer like becoming a big club through like organic ways. You know, players like Gordon coming good, like that's a nice story, isn't it? That people are laughing at us spending 40 million on Gordon, saying we're mad. Everton fans were calling us mad, going, "You spent what? He's going to be, you know, he's going to be rubbish for you." And look at him; he's just absolutely blown us away with how good he is. So
Absolutely.
stories like that is what we want. You know, Livramento, look at him. He's someone who, in my opinion, in the future, is a starter for us all the time. And for me, obviously, when Gareth's not there, he's a starter for England.
100%. I mean, he can take over. He can take over Kyle Walker in the future. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Totally agree with them, man. Just getting a message from Shelley B. Just watching Transfer Show. Sky's saying not happening that Miggy probably will for 30 million quid. The thing is, right, Miggy does want to leave Newcastle. That is the thing. But I know people's going to be celebrating. People's going to say, "Oh God," you know what I mean. But look, I'm not going to bully. I'm not going to have go at Miggy. There's just no way. If he does want to go, there's little you can do. One of the best ways is when at Newcastle versus Cardiff.
I was there. It was bloody brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I agree with you, Craig. It was one of the best away days I've ever been to, mate. 100% agree.
Absolutely.
We were singing all the game, and when that free kick went in, it was even better.
Wow. Absolutely right. Totally agree. What a day. What a time. Tripper's not going. That's some Kishan. Big up to Kish, by the way. Hope you have a good evening, mate. At least you've got a squad. We've got to use under 21s as we haven't got enough first team players due to sales and injuries. That's some Craig cause I'm a bit of a problem in a minute. If you don't buy, you won't win. That's very true. That's absolutely right. Totally agree. We've got to buy, but FFP is doing us again. But man, look, it's true. And Shelley agrees to you, Paul. It's impossible in a modern game. Again, I have to agree. Big up to Goatfather. Is this JSTV? Of course it is. What's going on behind the scenes at Newcastle? West Ham has agreed a loan deal with Phillips. Yes, he's going to West Ham. That's a done deal. And question for Leslie. Living abroad, have you seen the growth already in our overseas fan base? Or are you part of any groups at all?
Sorry, say that again.
Yeah. Question for you from Jokes, one of my mods. Living abroad, have you seen the growth already in our overseas fan base? Are part of any groups?
I'm not sure, really.
Like where you live, are there any big Newcastle fan base, any Newcastle groups or fan clubs over your way?
Leslie, when I used to do some work in Dubai, there was a couple of pubs in Dubai. One was actually linked to the tennis club there, and the Newcastle supporters used to get in there. Does that happen where you are? Is there a local pub where they actually meet together and watch the match?
Right. I mean, I think it is. I think we are.
Yeah.
The club is growing internationally, because I was reading as well a few days ago that in the US that we're being broadcast more, so it's increased the viewing in the US. So I think we're, you know, just at that stage where we're really trying to grow everything, and people are becoming impatient.
Well, I think it's growing more in the US than it is probably where you are. I think that would be true, probably, to say. It's. I think it's growing in the US.
Actually, there's not really much in Phoenix, but there are a lot of Newcastle groups across the country in the US.
Yeah.
And I think in Saudi, you know, while I'm here now, it's definitely more visible, the team, because PIF owns 80% share in it. And I've spoken to quite a few Saudis that are very passionate about football. So I think they're getting a following here as well.
Good.
Good for
I mean,
you.
that could benefit us all round, because it's all about money. If we want to compete with the Man Cities and Liverpools and you know, Arsenal, those top teams that are able to generate a lot of income.
Yeah. Fantastic. That was really fantastic. Really, really good. Let's get some more Newcastle fans around your way as well. And the grow, the bigger, the better. I love to do Saudi. I love to do America. You know what I mean? Whether they're playing in the summer, I want to be there as well. This is the modern game. There's no organic growth. Yeah, I agree with you there, mate. I'm glad you enjoyed the result. Thank you, Craig. I would like to see Trips see out his career at Newcastle and go on to the coaching staff. And Shelley agrees with you. Great for the young ones. And I'm off J-Dog. See you in the morning. No problem, can I see you in the morning, mate? And watch what you're doing. And didn't Mitch have 200 plus at his group watch along? Said needs to find a bigger venue. Do you know that one, lads? Mitch had 200 plus at his group watch along.
Is that Mitch off? Was it NUFC Matters? Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah,
is that the Mitch?
Yeah.
Where he's on with Steve Wraith.
Steve Wraith, Steve and Steve Hasty and Spenny Mag as well. So don't know, Leslie, on that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. And right, let's go straight to the journalist side here. That's the main topic. I'll start with you, Paul. I mean, like I said, Craig Hope and Luke Edwards, you know, like our fan base having a go at them because they're trying to be negative, right? Which is unbelievable, right? I mean, look, sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't, right? Are they being negative towards the Newcastle fans, or do they feel they're being a bit clickbaity? Because some of the stuff they put on, right? I mean, you know, they just want to pull the whole thing down at the minute, like, you know what I mean? Like a pull down, like, you know, like Ben Jacobs done a report yesterday on Miguel Almiron, right? Fees been agreed. And then they come on and said it's not true, etc. Yeah. So what is going on? Why are they being clickbait? Why did they come out and speak the truth?
The funny thing is that Newcastle has now become a club that gets clicks and gets views. If like I said, you know, I said this I think yesterday, the day before, when we did the other podcast. You know, I was saying that if this was 10 years ago, no one would have cared about any of our players, and that's not being disrespectful to the players we had. It's just because we didn't have any big stars, and Newcastle weren't thought of as being like an important club because we weren't being run right. We weren't being thought of as in Champions League or anything like that. You know, we're now, you know, obviously we're not, you know, not doing as well this season. There's reasons behind that, but we are considered a very interesting club because of everything that's gone into it, the investment, you know, all of that behind it. Like, so it's made us more of a clickable club to look at. And the thing is, it's hard to slag off journalists. They do annoy me, but it's hard to say that, you know, the problem is that part of their job is to get people to look at their articles. You know, that's the problem, isn't it? It just comes with a job. And a catchy headline that might scare people gets more people to read their article, or gets more people to click on something. When you get into the meat of what they've actually put in the actual full article, most of the time it's just like a shocking headline to get you in. And then actually the real story is, you know, Miggy has maybe have interest in Saudi Arabia, blah, 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 or Trippier, he came back, but he's come back for training. You know, there's always like a bit of a caveat to what the actual big headline is. That's a, you know, it always happens. I mean, look, there's YouTube channels that do this. I've seen a, you know, particular YouTube channel. I think most people are going to know the one I'm talking about. But it was saying big capital letters, Pochettino sacked, in big letters and big exclamation marks, and a big like picture of Pochettino with his suitcase in his hand. Now, we all know that hasn't happened. We all know that's not true. But again, that gets that person likes and it gets them views, and they talk about the possibility of Pochettino getting sacked. you know, because he obviously hasn't been sacked. It's just this is what comes with this type of thing, that, you know, because we're a club that gets likes and gets views now, we're always going to have this. And like I said, we've actually got players who warrant people to want to know what they're doing. Kieran Trippier is a big name. Isaac is a big name. Botman is a big, you know, these are big name players. Bruno Guimaraes is, you know, being talked about, you know, so these players are just going to be linked no matter what we do. We're going to have this more and more and more the bigger we get and the more better players we get. Do you know what I mean? When we get inevitably Miggy's replacement for whoever that might be, do you know what I mean? If he has a blinding of a season next season, do you not think he's going to be linked with Barcelona? Or, you know, do you know what I mean? It's just, this is what happens. You know, if Isaac goes next season and scores like 30 goals and does amazing, where we're going to be doing the same podcast this time next year, John, in January, and I bet you it will be Isaac to Barcelona. You know, this is just, it's just what this window is. It really, you know, this is why we're all looking at the clock thinking, when is it going to be February for the clock to be, you know, for it to be shut? Because, you know, we can just move on with who we have or haven't got.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, all these YouTubers as well, there's so many of them, right, trying to make up stories as well, right? On this channel, we don't make up stories. We talk about it. We don't ever say on our channel, we signed that player, where clearly they haven't. It'll be an embarrassment for me channel, and it gives me channel a bad name. That's never going to happen anytime soon. Leslie, what's your take on journalism on social media, spouting BS? Before I come on to you, Lee Ryder's only North East journalists I trust 90% of the time. The rest are just BS merchants. What about Fabrizio Romano? Yeah, he's quite liable as well.
He did put that one picture up. But who's the lad from Watford who he put in the Newcastle shirt? He never came to us.
Oh, Pedro, João Pedro.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. We're never done.
Well, that ain't good. That is not good. So, what about your take on them, Leslie? On journalism spouting BS on their clickbait, or they're just trying to do for clicks, or trying to look fans up?
Yeah, I think it just really makes people frustrated as well, because there's so much rumors going around and people jump on the wagon of it. So I don't know, it's hard to believe what's really going on at the moment. Because I mean, one thing you just touched on when you were speaking about Mickey going maybe to Saudi, what do you think? Why are other players leaving Saudi, like Henderson, and there's quite a few unhappy ones at the minute? I mean, has it been like a you know, something that players have tried out, been enticed by the money, and then it's just kind of not what they expected? I mean, Maxi seems to be okay there. We haven't really heard much negative stuff about him and Ronaldo, but I'm just wondering about the other players who came to Saudi. It seems, what does people think?
Yeah, I mean, you got some players maybe linked with. I mean, people said that we could buy players from Saudi clubs as well. We haven't even done it yet, and we've not done one yet at all. I mean, Tom, I mean, your take on journalism. I know you're very strong about this, about journalism as well, doing clickbaits from, you know, trying to get us fans in the fence. He said, it's a done deal, yeah? But I'll go with Jules as well. She said, take all reports with a massive pinch of salt. People get themselves all worked up for no reason. This is the thing, right? For me, I don't get too involved in that. I take a step back, because people will come to me and say, is this true? This is true, John, this is happening. Nobody knows what's going on, number one. Number two, right? I mean, if you say something is going to happen and it does come off, it's going to make you like a right idiot, man.
I think there's one thing which has changed enormously, and we shouldn't forget, and that was under Mike Ashley, under Steve Bruce, and that era. The leaks were unbelievable. The managers were being questioned about difficult scenarios, particularly Steve Bruce, and what was going on the training pitch. Now, in my opinion, I think the leaks have stopped. I think they've actually blocked them in UFC now. And I think these journalists, quite frankly, are struggling. They're struggling to bring anything of real clickbait that's going to happen, particularly throughout the year. And all right, we know it's January, but nevertheless, and then we've got a difference, haven't we? We've got Darren Eales coming on, and he's doing his PR. Well, we never saw Charnley, never saw him at all in a one-to-one interview, never. But Darren Eales does, so that it's changed somewhat, and Newcastle are trying to control the narrative. In my opinion, they're not doing it well enough, because I think it got out of control in the last number of weeks. Mm-hmm. And a few things which I wrote down here was, I thought the PR, in terms of controlling the narrative from Newcastle's point of view, was poor. It got out of control, and they should have actually come out with certain statements about certain things, and they didn't. I don't know why. Maybe there's a bigger story that I don't know why. And then we have when Eddie Howe goes into the press room, faces the journalist, and Eddie Howe, as we all know, goes in with a press officer. And that press officer, I've never seen him say a word yet. Now, the press officer is there again to control the narrative of what's going on in front of him with the journalists. But I think it could be well said, and I think there's a few facts behind this, that Eddie, sometimes the questions he was being asked really should have had some help from the press officer, because it was not his domain about certain things which were being asked. It was definitely not his domain. And involved with that was clearly Eddie was upset about some things. His face gave that away in itself. His demeanour gave that away. And the press officer should have stepped in and done that. So I think, is that deliberate? I don't think it is. I think Newcastle are learning. I think they're learning. They're going to learn off this winter transfer as well. But the PR, out of 10 for me with Newcastle, has been 4 or 5, simply because they've let some of these stories go awry. Players have been disrupting possibly the supporters, without a doubt, about leaving and moving on. Was that deliberate? That part I don't know. But I do believe the part about FFP and how Darren Eales concentrated on that, and he didn't demean it, but he highlighted it, which showed what a difficult position NUFC are in, as well as other Premier League clubs. I thought he did an excellent job on that. So the PR side, it's got to improve. As for the clicks and the information coming out, sometimes, as one lady said on here, yeah, you've just got to take with a pinch of salt. You have to. It's some of the stuff that's coming out is outrageous, and and you can see the fan base getting a little bit upset with it. Now, on the other hand, a lot of so-called fans who are going on forums such as ours here are upset with Darren Eales for undermining the club and making Newcastle a bit of a laughing stock, because their interpretation is that Darren Eales put the club up for sale virtually, which I don't believe he did. I don't believe he did. So the underlying issue is, I think Newcastle are learning, but have to do better.
Yeah, that's facts, absolutely facts. I mean, also as well, Eddie's asked the question before about Saudi, and Eddie just batted it away. He said that time we just won't be here for the football. I think that was twice. One of the London media as well, and just trying to get a rattle. I think Eddie did really well, not to get flattered as well, get flustered as well, that did. But you know what it is, right? I mean, like I said, I look on social media. There's a lot of crap being written, Paul. A lot of crap being written. I mean, at times, I just don't even talk about it, do you know what I mean? Until my motto is, when the deal is done, then we could talk about it. Until he holds that scarf up at the pitch in a black and white shirt on, then I will believe it. Just like that. Just like that scarf. Do you get what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But nah, it's true though, Paul. You can't go around making false claims, do you know what I mean?
Mate, I'm not going to name them, but everyone in this chat Everyone knows the names I will say if I said them. We've been there so many times with the in the knows, the people who know everything. I mean, I saw that. I saw that we had Calvin Phillips on January the 2nd. Apparently, that was all done and dusted. Miggy was in Saudi Arabia 2 days ago. Apparently, blah 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 blah. It's all rubbish until I see him holding the scarf and there's an official announcement from both clubs. I don't believe anything. I just don't. We've all seen this with, what I like about some of our transfers in the recent history of Newcastle is they've happened like that. Like, look at Isaac. We went for J. Pedro. That went wrong. And Romano got that wrong. I think it might have even been the next day. I think maybe the day after. Literally, Isaac was flying to Newcastle. We had paid the money and he was literally coming over to sign his contract. Like that. Bruno were the same. There was no rumours about Bruno coming. And then randomly out of nowhere, it was like, oh, Bruno Guimaraes is signing for Newcastle from Lyon. It was like, what? Where did that come from? Just completely dropped out of the blue. Do you know what I mean? So that's when I prefer hearing it like that, because normally when it's out of nowhere, there's normally more truth to it. Because realistically, unless there's a mole or whatever, and there was moles in Newcastle in the past.
We know who it is.
I can't name them publicly, but some people do know who they were. Some were in my inbox at the time. They're telling us about tactics and managers. But there you go. So to be honest, if the club want a big deal to happen, they're not going to leak it to Lee Ryder or Keith Downey, or they're not going to, because all that does is increase the sale, increase the value. If you can get it done without much media attention, then when it's done and dusted, you're actually just saying to the media, right, we signed him, he's coming over. I just think that's the best way to do business. So if we keep doing that, I think that's the best way for the club, because that's what's happened with a few of our signings, where it's just literally just, oh, okay, well, signing him, okay, random, we're signing him out of nowhere. So I prefer that than the whole rigmarole of going through. We're going in for, remember when under Ashley, we had this so often where it was like, we're after so and so player, West Ham. Let's say it was West Ham. West Ham want £40 million. And it was always Newcastle have offered 22. And it's like, well, if West Ham want 40 and we've offered 22, what? And then we apparently offered, people remind me in the chat, I can't remember who it was. We had no money allegedly. And we offered, was it Koulibaly? Apparently out of nowhere, we offered 70 million for him, apparently under Ashley.
Yeah. Koulibaly, no, what happened was we offered Koulibaly for he was rated £5 million from Ghent coming to Napoli, right? And after one season, right, Newcastle claims that we offered 12 million for this guy. And I just laughed. I know Italian football in and out, yeah. And I thought to myself, I had to laugh then, because there's no way Napoli's going to sell him for 12 million quid when he just bought it for £5 million quid.
Do you remember the player who we offered? Do you remember the player who they said we offered 60 or 70 odd million under Ashley? Who the hell was that? I remember that happening. Well, obviously it didn't really happen, but we offered some stupid amount of money, and we were like, where have we got that money from? How's that real? And then it just went nowhere.
Very, very strange.
Someone will remember who that was in the chat, I'm sure.
I think the one which I remember as well, which I put a bet on wouldn't happen, was when the Athletic in 23, Ornstein had turned around and said that the club was definitely going to be sold between February and the end of March 23. And I said, no chance. Absolutely no chance. The Glaziers aren't going to get away and leave this without trying to get literally top dollar for it. And I was proven right. From that day onwards, I've always taken the Athletic as a pinch of salt. I thought they were going to be different. No, they're not. They're no different.
I mean, I could qualify, I could say Adam Clayton, right? That guy, he doesn't like Newcastle at all whatsoever, yeah? He doesn't know anything about Newcastle United. He's a muppet, yeah? I can't take this guy seriously at all whatsoever. I really don't, yeah? And he rifled a lot of fans up as well. Go on, Tom.
Who was that? Sorry, who did you say that was, John?
Adam Clayton.
Yeah.
That guy, seriously,
he's an absolute wet wipe.
Yeah, they're there to do certain things, and some journalists have those types of personalities. We all have personalities, and some will absolutely wind up the fan base dreadfully, going very, very close to the line. Never seem to, but very, very close. And then you've got, I mean, for example, Craig Hope. He's a decent journalist, of course he is. He's not in the job for nothing, and he puts his little vlogs out and gives his opinion. I don't always agree with him, but he's not nasty with it. He gives his opinion, and you know, what I didn't enjoy though with him particularly was when he put the actual the little notes on X or Twitter saying this is happening. Then he had to retract that a couple of times. And I thought, well, there's a mistake being made here, and I think that is the position Newcastle are in. Certainly, they are controlling on many cases the leaks, not the narrative when it gets out, but certainly the leaks they are controlling it. And I do think these journalists need to go down the aggressive route, which is what you're saying, John, or they go down another route, which is clickbait. Both those are the same, and 99% of the stories inaccurate. The 1% is lying at the bottom of the actual article, and that's certainly not going to be on Twitter. That would probably be in the newspaper. So as far as I'm concerned, I think journalism in sport at the moment is pretty dire, and particularly Oliver Holt in particular, you know, in terms of obviously having a go at us and the Saudis as well, and again, you know, really. Just no need to do that, and you know, it was. I don't understand why. Then you look at Samuel, who went from the Daily Mail over to the Times, and then put his article out about financial fair play. Why it was wrong, and why it was wrong when it was looked at in 1992 by Arsenal, you know, and he put that together. Now that wasn't particularly concentrating on Newcastle or supporting Newcastle, but it was showing the existence of, in that article, which I thought was well written, of what is actually going on behind the scenes in the Premier League and what's going on with the UEFA as well. So, as far as I'm concerned, any journalist, take it with a pinch of salt. I don't mind watching it. And when I watch Craig Hope, sometimes when he puts his little vlogs out, I turn around and I'm actually talking to the TV on my own, and I actually talk to the TV and say, well, that's not right, and these are the reasons why. You know, to make sure I'm convincing myself the right way. You know, so they are there. They are a hindrance. I'll agree. I think I would agree with all you. They are a hindrance, but sometimes they can come up with some reasonable, interesting stuff. But I'll come back to it again. They're certainly not getting very much information out of NUFC now. Nothing like compared to what they used to.
No, definitely not. Let's come to you in a minute. Just go through the comments as well. Do smash the likes as well. And also do follow the three guys on Twitter as well. And go to in a minute. Let's go on to Jules. Club statement goes on to say they expect to see J7 back in action in Mir. We shall see. I think he'll be out at the end of the season, to be fair. And I just write it off his season offers anyway. But Triple H needs a Bradford sausage. Hey!
Move confirmed.
Yes.
Wow. What does everyone think about the injuries we've had so far this season? Have we just been unlucky, or is it just that the intensity of the matches with the Champions League and everything? But it seems like almost every player's been injured at one point. I think Bruno, maybe in AG, are probably the only ones, maybe Mickey as well, but lately everyone's had an injury. So what's going on there? Why is it just normal or unlucky?
I just think it's a mixture of unlucky and not winning enough games away from home, to be fair, because you don't get beat like Luton away, Forest at home. You just don't get beat off them. Yes, we got injuries, Leslie. I get that. But at the end of the day, we had so many injuries. Like you said, we've been very unlucky with them as well. There's little you can do about it. But I think playing in the Champions League and not improving in the team has absolutely done this as well. You should have got more players. You've got another 4 or 5 more players just to cope with it. Do you know what I mean? Because players we've got like LESLEYS, Richie, Dummett, Richie, Dummett, and you know, and Target to a degree. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think they're good enough. We need to improve.
Or 3 goalkeepers on the subs bench.
Exactly. I've never seen that happen in my life. Never. 3 subs keeper on the bench. Really. But that needs to be sorted out. If not now, sort it in the summer. It needs to, because at the end of the day, right, we need to get players coming in. Now, this FFP has destroyed us. Get rid of the players that are not good enough. And we need to get them rid of them. I think the club... Go on, Tom.
Sorry, I was just going to say to Leslie, in my opinion, I think it was unlucky. I do genuinely believe that. In other areas, technically and medically, I don't think it was. I think there was mistakes made. Heads had to possibly roll. I think also the opportunity by Eddie to rotate, and he didn't. And let's be honest, we played those players last year virtually into the ground. They were the set of players that we did so well with.
Yeah.
And that intensity wasn't there this season. Really never really has been throughout really 2 halves of the game. So I think a number of things could have been done better. And I think Newcastle are learning. The squad's not big enough. Never has been. But I am going to say something, and he's been a very good servant to us. But some of the players should not be on the bench because they don't have the legs to be on the bench.
Right.
And sometimes when Eddie's doing or putting together these substitutions, which I've said on this channel before, have concerned me about the tactical nous when they should have been put on, when they shouldn't have been. Then if they are going in as an extra body, I'd rather have somebody that's got legs. And with all due respect to Matt Ritchie, who's been a wonderful servant and a great player, I'd rather have somebody that's going to be able to get up and down that byline and stay with one of their players and have the opportunity of stopping him with a tackle. For some reason, I've pulled what little hair I've got out to the fact that Eddie hasn't wanted to do that at times. So there's a mixture of things there, definitely a mixture of things, and I think tactical nous by Eddie and Jason needs to be better. It needs to be better.
Agree. Totally agree, guys. It's a classic case of congestion fixtures and not enough depth, along with a healthy helping of bad luck. Santosh, you are absolutely right, mate. So right. And also, I think the criticism of Eddie thus far is that there has been times where we had a full team and he still kept them on until the 80 minutes in. Exactly. We love Eddie Santosh. We love him. But he's like Mikel Arteta. Doesn't make subs early enough, do you know what I mean? And quickly enough, do you know what I mean? And another thing is as well, he must stop playing his favourites. That is the thing. Because now we have got to be ruthless in the summer. Because if he's not ruthless in the summer, if he doesn't make brave chances, brave calls, as much as I love Eddie, but I think people could come on to him as well. And I do apologise. He's got to be ruthless in the summer. Eddie didn't rotate the squad enough, apart from Man U away, and we won 3-0. Yeah, that's a poor United team, by the way. Let's be real. Anyone could beat that poor United team. Shocking. Big up to Ian, by the way. You see Klopp and Pep and trusting their squad and rotate players more, put it on youth, etc. We simply don't have a manager who trusts in the depth available enough. That's in Santosh. And obviously, Santos is going slightly harder than Eddie, but I can see his point. We owe Chelsea 32 mil for Lewis Hall, and we won't even play him. This is the thing. Paul,
that's mad.
I don't get that at all.
I don't get it.
What's the point in him getting on season long loan? You're not going to play the lad. Do you know what I mean? Is it because Eddie didn't want him? And another question is, Paul, whose call was it? Eddie's call, or was it Dan Ashworth's call? Because if it's Dan's, I think Eddie's got a problem.
Well, I think that in some ways, I think that there's something going on. I can't prove it, but we do hear about this. I don't know if Eddie Howe has had a technical manager above him or at that level, such as Dan Ashworth in the past. And then I hear Dan Ashworth wants to leave, and I think, hold on, we're all creatures of habit. Is there something underlying here? Eddie, Dan, is he not getting his own way? other things such as that. I don't know, but certainly, I think. I mean, what got to me was the Trippier scenario when Trippier was playing. Clearly, a man that had something on his mind. He played him and played him and played him, and we suffered the consequences. And yet, certain players could have come on and replaced him, and he just didn't. And I said to my wife watching one of the games, we've got Gareth Southgate here. It was absolutely annoying that, and that was when we were going through that run of losing those games, particularly Bournemouth, I think, as well. And I thought, what the heck's going on here? Why won't you do that? And the original guy who's actually posted there about favourites, he's spot on. He's absolutely spot on.
Yeah. This is the problem. This is the problem, man. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, look. They need to get Lewis sorted out very, very soon. They need to either play him
so
or they
just
don't
say
play
one thing about Lewis Hall. I watched him for 2 or 3 games against Man City and a couple of other big clubs. He was outstanding. He's outstanding at left back.
Facts.
But it wasn't just that. And can I remind you, had a wonderful game against Manchester United, and we're hearing he's not ready. And I'm thinking, well, hold on, he was good enough for there, and he was good enough for Chelsea when they didn't have that, and he was outstanding when he played there. But he's not getting an opportunity. How do you know he's not ready?
Well, this is just a mystery. That's the question needs to be asked to Eddie the next press conference, but I doubt he's going to answer that question. But it is what it is. But we'll see what happens. Still time for Lewis to get some game time, but we'll see. Great point, John. I think Hall was pushed on Eddie. That's an Ian. It sounded like it, didn't it? And Julio Hall, Giorgio, I don't understand what you're on about, mate. It don't sound like a pause to ever. Your drink spot's very loud next to the mic. I do apologise, Jules. I mean, Mike's there. Drinks on there, but you're right. I do apologise. And thanks for joining, Kel. I hope you're having a good evening and your hobby is well. And I hope you're okay. And I love Eddie, don't get me wrong, but he definitely has his favourites that he feels known his system well. A classic case is Liver going straight to the bench when Burn got back or gets back.
Yes.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your take on Eddie Leslie? That's a very good point there. Do you think Eddie's the right man for Newcastle United still? Because I think he is, but he's got to stop playing his favourites. Leslie.
Sorry, say it again.
Let's say this. Right? Do you think we all love Eddie, but do you think Eddie's still the right man for Newcastle United, or do you think they need a bigger name? Because I'm getting a lot of people now, right? I mean, from other podcasts.
Yeah, I know that because of potential other managers, but I still think he's got a run for maybe the next couple of seasons and see how things go. I mean, he's definitely dedicated, and I think he's really turned around the morale of the players and everything. Mm-hmm. So I think we should give him a chance for another 1 or 2 seasons and see what happens.
I think sorry for interrupting you, Leslie, but I think the other thing was, which was, you've got Rory, what do you call him on Talk Sport? You know who I mean? He was with the true Geordie anyway.
Yeah, he's a prat.
Yeah, he is. So I didn't want to say that, Paul, but I'll agree with that one. He turned around and said, he says, in a lot of cases, he said, the run which Eddie's going through, a lot of the top managers will be sacked. Well, that in some cases, if he'd been at Chelsea some years ago, that would have probably been the case. Eddie deserves a chance, without a doubt, to actually take this club through this season and look at next. But there's one thing I know I watched with Klopp. Klopp and his number 2 have decided to completely change their tactical offensive and bought the players to fit that tactical change. They bought the players to do that. And I think we'll all agree here it's probably worked. So I think Eddie, in terms of just having to concentrate on very hard work at times and closing players down, I think he's tactical now. He'll have to take another step up to meet that standard, because the standard is set by Pep and Klopp. The difference is, of course, they've got more money, they've got better players, but nevertheless, I think we got found out this season, guys. I did really think we got found out, and the way some of the teams who had done the homework, Paul, played through us from the back was embarrassing. Where at one time we could close those teams down. So either we are not doing it correctly or we've been found out. But the Klopp scenario and Pep, as they both mentioned, they always change it. They have to look at it per and every season, moving it and changing it. My interest will be on Eddie if he's capable of doing that.
Yeah. The thing is, right, he's got, I mean, I like to see Eddie change things up. You just mentioned that he's been found out. I mean, Paul, do you think he's being found out? I mean, he's keeps on 4-3-3. Do you think it's time now to change, play like a back three maybe, so play a 4-2-3-1, change it up? Because a lot of people on the channel, I had a few guys saying that he needs to change it up. What do you think? Or stick to 4-3-3?
It's one of those things. I mean, but the thing is, right, Eddie does change tactics in the game a lot. Look, I don't know how closely some people watch the games. He does try to, and this is what other managers for us in the past haven't done. He does try to, go along with a change or try to do things that do help a game. The one thing that frustrated me in particular with his tactics, or whether it's a team on the pitch, I don't know for definite, because I'm not talking to the team or him. The thing with De Bruyne, that's one thing. It is frustration, and we did have that flat three, which Man City kept playing through over and over again anyway. And then the problem is that when De Bruyne came on, there was no one on man marking him, which made him free in the park for two, for a goal and an assist. And that is frustrating, because it's like, to me, it's like anyone who, Sky saw it coming. They kept, they spent more time looking at him and his hair than the match. They kept moaning on about De Bruyne the whole game. So if they can see it coming, if Newcastle fans can see it coming, I'm pretty sure someone who's smarter than I am at football, Eddie Howe, can probably see that coming. So he's going to come on at some point. So to have some sort of like backup plan, whether you substitute someone or whatever, you put someone on him, whatever. We just didn't seem to cope with that substitution. But he's human. It's funny that last season, Klopp was going through the same thing.
He was
going through a horrible run last season where he couldn't win a game. They were getting beat every game. Liverpool were. They were in a horrible run of form. They had no confidence. They had, they didn't have many injuries. It wasn't like they could blame injuries. I think they had some, but they still had, Salah and, Jota, and they had very good players who could change the game. But they were going for a horrible run of form. And then they just kind of, the second half of the season in particular, the end part of the second half of the season, they kicked, he changed some things and they kicked on, and nearly, it would have been travesty if it happened, but they nearly beat us to fourth. More of that was because we had kind of run ourselves into the ground a little bit, because we were just so desperate to keep the fourth place. So it's one of those scary things where Liverpool nearly caught us. It wouldn't be justified if they did, but so any manager can go through it. Look at Pep Guardiola, with all of the resources he has. This season has been considered so far a bad season for Man City so far. And look at where they are. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's lost a lot of games, more games than usual for Man City this season. And there's been some players who haven't looked overly interested. There's been some very bad performances. I thought their performance at Villa was very bad. I know Villa were good, but I thought they were terrible at Villa Park. I thought they were really bad. So every manager has this. Look at Man United. Man United may have more points than us, but they've not played better football than us. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes they have got very lucky with goals and games. So I think every manager goes through this slump that Eddie's been in. The issue we had in particular, like we've said already, is that we've had bad luck for definite. I mean, shoulders popping out and stuff, that's bad luck. Dan Burns back going, that's bad luck. The muscle injuries are the ones that are more frustration, especially when we feel that people have been rushed back, and that's been not proved exactly, but someone has left the medical team because of, they haven't said it publicly directly, but there's no doubt at all that chap left, and 2 days later, Botman's given that interview about playing on an injury. There's no way that's not linked. Don't tell me that. It's of course it's linked. So I think it's something the club need to look at about the advice Eddie gets, because I think sometimes when he gives feedback, he doesn't know dates. He's like, well, I don't know when they're back. That's ridiculous. Like, this is the point of having a top class medical team. So I think there's a few things to look at there. Like I said, for me, Eddie needs to be judged on the season with a full squad, a proper full squad. Yes, obviously you're going to you can't help having an injury. Of course you can't. But we need a full seat. Like next season, I think this is where Eddie gets really judged, when you have Tonali back full time. That's another horrible one missed.
Yeah.
You have Bullet back full time. You have Joe Linton, if he's, he will sign, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Bruno full time. All of these players back, and hopefully, fingers crossed, fit. And yeah, okay, we have the odd injury or whatever, but not as bad as this. I don't think we can never repeat how bad it's been this season. I think I'd be shocked if it was ever this bad again. But do you know what I mean? And then, like I said this on another show. If we had a full squad, like literally full, no one injured right now, and we were 10th and we were underachieving, then I'd agree that Eddie Howe's job would probably be under some scrutiny, because, no offense, we have a better team who should be doing better. And we have proof of that. You can see how good the team can be. So, but the thing is, he hasn't had the full squad, and you've had the Champions League on top of that, where, and we've said this a million times now, people get bored of me saying it, we were a bad penalty away from qualifying. It's that simple. People who said that we didn't do a good job in the Champions League, we actually did. Who would have had us to beat PSG at home and get a draw at their home, and we should have won? We should have taken 6 points off PSG. And I've said this a million times. If we beat PSG in the second game, as we should have, the penalty doesn't get given, and we beat them, I'm still convinced that we do not go into the Milan game with the same tactics. We just don't, and we qualify. And then for me, it's a different season. If Trippier doesn't head that ball back to Dubravka in a bad way, and we're playing, will it be tonight? It's tonight, right? The second leg, is that right? The second leg's tonight, isn't it?
Tonight, Chelsea bar tonight.
We would have technically been in the second leg of a semi-final tonight. We were literally a header away from that. So, when you think of all these little things that have happened in this season, we've been a little bit of like a blade of grass away from like doing a lot better. So some of it is bad luck. It really is. I think that sensible owners will look at stuff like that and be like, we did get absolutely, an absolute travesty call with the handball. We went too gun-ho in the AC Milan game. Yes, that's tactics, but the players wanted to win, and you can't. For me, I love the fact that the players wanted to win that game. That shows me everything I need to know about the club, the mentality. Chelsea, we just had a bad 3 seconds, in a very tough defensive second half in particular. We weren't far away from being, like I said, we weren't far away from being in the last 60, in the knockout stages of the Champions League and in the semi-final. And then if we're still 10th with both of those happening, is this considered a bad season? Probably not.
No, I've got to agree. And I think Jackie agrees with you as well. Big up to Jackie, by the way. Totally agree, Paul. Injuries has been horrendous and not moaned about. But next season, summer signings are hopefully 2 per position. Judges next year, just so much bad luck this season. Like Lesley's just said, Leslie. Bad luck as well. 2 positions each every season. And I think Paul is right again. What do you think, Les?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't read the question, Mike.
Yeah, it's not a question. It's not a question. It's just Paul in the pool, and injuries has been a problem, like you said earlier on, being a bit unlucky and not much moaned about. But next season, summer signings, we need to have 2 players per position. Judges next year. Do you think Jackie's right?
You mean like switching some players around?
Yeah, switch players around, and also getting a bigger squad as well. We need a bigger squad.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm an expert to be able to give too much advice on that, but I think, there are players that have shown their ability to be able to slot into different positions. So possibly that's one of the tactics that they're looking at.
Yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. Right, we're gonna, in that case then, I think I'll wrap up the show as well. We're just gonna say quickly about Miggy. I'm just gonna go around the table. Miggy Almiron to Saudi. Paul, yes or no?
Get him gone.
Tom
Yeah, gone.
and Leslie.
In Saudi,
Yeah.
like,
Do you think you should go there?
say that again. Sorry.
Yeah. Do you think you should go there? Do you think you should move to Saudi?
Yeah.
He should go to Saudi. Jackie, Shelley agrees as well. Me too. Should be on this way. Thank you, Gary. Thank you as well, Gary, as well. I mean, Miguel Almiron, do you think he should be moved on? Yes or no? Yes, Sel. This sells Alan as well. And there you go. Everyone's Miggy gone.
Poor Miggy.
The game's
So there you go. Get him gone. But do you think he'll go? Do you think he's going to go, Paul, in January? Do you think he's going to go?
Probably not. Probably not. I wouldn't be shocked if he stayed. I wouldn't be shocked if no one went. I just think this window. The problem is this window. It really is. Look, if we can get £30 million for Almiron, I'll drive him to bloody Saudi Arabia myself. No problem about that. Bless him. Bless him. He's been a great servant. But if we can get 30 million for him, I'd be ecstatic.
You can't turn that down, can you?
I'd be so happy. No offense to the lad, but we need to upgrade on that position in particular. So if we can get rid of him for a good amount of money and get a decent player in his position, no problem at all. I'd have that all day. Thank you, Miggy. You've been a lovely guy, lovely servant, but yeah.
Fair enough. Cool stuff. In that bombshell, we're going to wrap up the show. It's a very short one tonight. And I'm going to say that bomb. I'm not going to say anything else on that bombshell because we're going to wrap it up. And got on for Leslie. You're off now, Leslie, are you? You're going now.
all right. Well, thank you.
Listen, you're welcome. Before you go, Leslie, where can we find you on your Twitter account?
Where can you
follow you? Yeah. What's your Twitter handler so people can find you?
Are you on Twitter?
She's on Twitter, but what's your Twitter so people can find it? Is it British?
I think it's British Leslie.
That's the one. Yeah. Brilliant stuff. And did you enjoy coming on the show? Did you enjoy coming on?
All right, I'll be on again. Yeah.
No problem. Take care, Leslie. Bye. Bless her. She's really good tonight. And
she was nervous. She was
nervous tonight, but but once she comes through that, she'll be absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. And first time was tough as well. And you too, Alan, thanks so much indeed. And Shelley, it says as well, 30 mil is a very good price.
Taxi.
Absolutely. There you go. Taxi. Not me. If you don't get anyone in, which looks like it, a week left, the only player who has played every single game, and that's in Jackie. Yeah, 2 goals, 3 assists this season. And look, I like him, but 30 million, you can't turn that down. Not for a 29-year-old anyway. I mean, we love Miggy, but we need to upgrade now. No disrespect. Right, we're going to end the show there, guys. And it's been a good show tonight. And did you enjoy tonight, Tom?
Yes, I did. It was great. Thank you. And thanks for the viewers as well. And thanks to Paul and thanks to you, John. Thank you.
No problem at all. Thank you. You come on any time. You know that. And Paul, what about you, man?
Nah, it's awful as always. It's terrible. Bad company, bad opinions, just the usual. Sunderland supporters. I'll tell you, Sunderland supporters on this podcast.
I know. We need to sort it out, and we need to.
I've got plenty of those in my family. Sunderland supporters. You would not believe what breaks out on Christmas Day. However,
yeah, man.
No, it's always great, John. It's always a laugh coming on here, and everyone's so supportive. And they're so just it's just great. It's just such a great community. Thank you to everyone for making the FFP video one of the most popular we've had as well, because that blew up. That really did blow up. So thank you so much for that, because that's really kicked off that video in particular. I reposted it because it's done so well. So Really appreciate that. We've got some lovely comments on the YouTube channel there as well, which is really lovely to see. Has some lovely messages sent to me.
Yes, Gary, trust the process.
So
Yes.
thank you so much. And just to be cheeky, if anyone's around at 10 p.m. tonight, if you are, if you're not, don't worry. But I'm going to be reappearing on the American Magpie channel again because it was a good laugh there. They've been very, very nice to me. We're doing a panel show there at 10 o'clock. So you're welcome to come along and give me trouble there as well if you want to.
Good. It's a good channel as well, by the way. Check it
is
out.
that the Twitter address as well, Paul, for them, is it? American Magpie.
I think it's very close to that, yeah.
Very close to it.
Do you know? Is it or not? Do you know? Can you see it?
I'm just trying to find it for you now, my friend.
Go on, Chris. Is it Chris Rod, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it CTA Magpie?
I think so. Bear with me, sorry. It's
Cool
Chris
stuff.
Rod, yeah, Chris,
That's the
yeah.
one.
CTA Magpie, yeah, that's right.
Cool stuff.
Then he's got the TRFT podcast, which is, yeah, it's a good one. It's American, obviously
What, sorry?
Oh, sorry.
It's what, sorry, what podcast?
The American Magpie, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, got it,
TRFT podcast, yeah.
That's the one. That is the one. So, yeah, I mean, that'd be brilliant. So, yeah, we're definitely going to go on this channel. You can go on there tonight. I'm going to get them on mine soon, hopefully. So, definitely sort it out. Trust the process. Yes, indeed. I'm on TikTok doing a live and watch along for Chelsea game. Go and check out Steve's channel, Rock the Tune. Go and check it out. So, guys, I'm going to wrap up there. Hopefully, we'll be back either on Thursday or Friday for the preview show. And if you like to feel like what you watch, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're new, you know exactly what to do. And do follow Tom and Paul on their Twitter. The links are in the title as well. And check it out there and do it that way. But thanks for watching. And as always,